Hello, hello. We back at it again with Justin back. Same shit, different week. That's how it is. That's how you grow, actually, is you do the same stuff over and over until it gets monotonous, until you have a show of progress. That's how it is. That's the difficult part that people find in the gym, is that it's not the new shit that makes you grow. It's the consistency of doing the same stuff over and over that'll get you big. That is what people can't understand, is that you and I will get big because we've been working out for a while. Even with PEDs, they get big, and they consistently get bigger because of consistency. Yes, PEDs is the shortcut that everyone's all excited and pissed about. But guess what? They still have to work out. If they want to use the amount of PED uses, like the amount to take advantage of it, of having that hormone to help put on muscle, they have to work out. Yes, it'll put on muscle even if you don't work out. It'll put on less if you don't work out, though. So if you're going to take advantage, if you're going to take anything, take advantage of it. That means if you're taking creatine, if you're taking protein powder, if you're taking testosterone, whatever the fuck, and like these are things that like people are saying are helping them build muscle, then guess what? Take advantage of your supplementation. Means if you're adding protein to your diet, work out. Because protein builds muscle, but guess what? You have to make your muscle grow through working out. It does not have to be weightlifting. You will grow no matter what, as long as you are doing something more than what you were doing months ago. You will grow. Think about it. You know the people who take semaglutides and stuff like that, or other things like ghrelin blockers and stuff like that. Guess what? Their physique looks weird. People have talked about it. It's the whole what's it called? I forget what they're called now. Forgot what I was saying. Damn it. Forget what it's called. The thing that Lizzo took. And you can tell she took it and didn't work out with it. Because she doesn't look like someone who put on muscle while losing weight. You can and will put on muscle if you are working out. It does not have to mean you are weightlifting. The term working out nowadays is meaning you're going to the gym. No. Working out can be anything, guys. Working out is playing pickleball, fucking tennis. Just any sport that's making you be more active is working out. And it will put on some muscle. Not a ton, not a lot, but you look better than those who just took a semaglutide. Or Ozempic is the word I'm looking for. The Ozempic body. The whole, you have no fucking muscle, but you have a ton of loose skin. That is a weird looking physique. I've seen it, it's weird. Because those who actually did cardio and worked out and did stuff to lose the weight don't look like that. Because the way Ozempic works and most semaglutides, stuff like that, is it dampens your hunger. So your ghrelin, it blocks the signals from ghrelin into your brain. It's how it works. We've had a lot of ghrelin blockers that you ingest, pill form and stuff like that don't work very well. Want to know why? Because it has to go through your liver. And your liver actually makes the semaglutide weaker then because it gets rid of some of it. So your body gets used to it. That's the fun part about ghrelin blockers. But if it's an injectable form, like Ozempic, your body actually, it goes straight to the blood. So it cannot go through the liver. This is what I know of. I could be completely wrong. This is my hypothesis. I should probably research. This is my thought process behind it. Because it also it dampens your hunger so bad. There's been people who take Ozempic and stuff like that who can only eat like 500 calories a day because it dampens so fucking hard that they're not hungry. They eat one meal and they're like, I'm good, I'm done. And guess what? If you're not eating enough to fuel muscle growth and weight loss, you will not have muscle. 500 calories will make you lose weight, but guess what will also lose? Muscle. The whole thing. You will lose everything. You'll get small, you'll get frail, your bone density might actually go down because of it. And it's not because you're, damn, what was the need for that, bud? It's not because you're like, there we go, fixed it. It's not because like you're, what's it called? It's because like when you're really hungry, your testosterone goes down, and that means your estrogen goes down. And guess what? Your estrogen is the hormone that you need to have denser bones. So that's why what happens is, you know, the whole hot flashes thing when women start going through menopause. What happens is they're actually their hormones are getting weaker. It's the same thing with like men who start going through menopausal baldness and getting chubbier and stuff like that. Is as they get older, their hormones start to drop off. So that's why most women, if they're not working out and they're old, that's why most of them will break a hip in the long run. It's sad, it sucks, but hey. But if you are killing yourself to get to this certain weight that you want, and guess what, you get to it and you don't look as good as you did last time you were at that weight, it's because you took it too far. You did not work out on this thing. You were supposed to get leaner. No, you got leaner. You did get leaner. You lost fat and muscle. You got the short end of the stick. You didn't lose just fat. You lost a lot of muscle and a lot of fat. And guess what? When you lose a ton of muscle, you don't look appealing. You look kind of weird because we're so used to seeing people who have a decent amount of muscle. Like I have a decent amount of muscle. I am considered average for my height and weight. So I have a decent amount of muscle. Is it good? Is it bad? No. I just look normal. The thing is, when you get real lean, people think you're bigger because you got all the fat that's covering the muscle that you have. It's crazy looking. Because like when I was smaller and leaner, a lot of people were like, damn, you're big as shit. No, I'm actually way bigger than when I was leaner. But guess what? It came at a cost. I'm not as lean, so I don't have as much like definition in the muscle. But you know what's crazy? If I lost a ton of muscle and then got leaner, I would still look weird. I would look very scrawny. I wouldn't look very muscular at all. Like, I met a person who was around my weight, and he was actually leaner than I was, but had less muscle than I had. And it was a different build. Like, I had someone compare me to him, and they were like, I thought you would look more like Gavin. And I was like, No, I work out. He does not. He works construction with his dad, yes. But he's not challenging the muscle the way I am because he's not growing. So that's the fun thing, is you and I want to put on as much muscle as we can as we get leaner, or retain as much muscle as we can. Because let's say I get real lean, I lose fucking 10 pounds of muscle, I would be sad as shit. But if I am still like 2 pounds or 3 pounds heavier than I was at the same leanness, I actually gained muscle. It's just not as much as I thought, because most of the muscle that I thought I had was water. Because I'm bulked. I got fat, man. So that's the thing, is like the understanding of, hey, you got big and fat. Now you gotta lean down. Oh, let's take a magic pill that'll make you leaner. But you don't get to choose what it takes away to make you smaller. Is it gonna be muscle or is it gonna be fat? How about both? We're gonna take mostly both. We're gonna take mostly muscle though, because it's easier to grab. Someone who is at the same weight as you, except fat, looks different than someone who is at the same weight than you, but more muscular. Because muscles have a set point of where they can kind of be. So they have no like other choice but to grow where they're at. Fat, I feel like, I could be completely wrong, is it just covers up the muscle. So where your muscles are and tendons are, the fat just lumps over it. So it just kind of is in the crevices of where your muscles would insert and where they would like separate. That's why when I like look at people who have like a big belly, and like I've talked to my like parents and stuff about that, and they're like, well, it's weird. And I was like, because they look heavier even though they're smaller than I am, because of the fat. It's because fat is technically lighter than muscle. Quantity wise, you get more fat per pound per muscle. Like if I put on a pound of muscle, it's going to look completely different than if I put on a pound of fat, because a pound of muscle is like, I think like 0.5 grams throughout like per muscle, if that, like probably less maybe. So it's gonna look like I'm a little smaller than a pound of fat, because some people carry their fat differently. Like I've seen people who carry their fat a lot in their stomach, which is sucky, because that means there's subcutaneous fat that's around your organs that can be very dangerous. This is why I preach be healthier, try and be more active. I don't care if you're eating fucking junk food. If your first step is to walk a mile every day, then do it. And then you start fucking with your diet, that's great. I love that. Like, you do not have to be the healthiest person in this world for you to be fighting the risk of heart failure, fighting the risk of liver failure, of kidney failure, of like gut issues and stuff like that. Like, you don't have to be the healthiest person. I've met people who like I would consider fairly unhealthy, and yet they, oh shit, must stop. They're actually at lower risk of someone who is eating fairly healthier but eating too much food that they're not putting on muscle. They're kind of just putting on fat, because you can eat too much good food and still get fat. There is no such thing as good and bad food, guys. There is only ultra processed and processed food. You're never getting unprocessed food, guys. That's what pisses me off about this whole fitness industry. Is like, we want unprocessed food, blah blah blah. No, you don't. Y'all seen a cow? I have. I've seen a cow. They're fucking nasty, dude. They're one of the nastiest animals I have seen. And people are like, I want unprocessed. You don't want unprocessed milk from that motherfucker. He's got literal poop on his udders. Literal poop on their udder. And you want... Oh, shit. That's my fault. Like, they straight up have the most disgusting lifestyle because they're animals. I would never want, like, if you want unprocessed, go to a farm and ask them for milk they just milked from a cow that they didn't put through a filter. And ask them, hey man, I want that one. They're gonna look at you and go, I don't even drink that. Wanna know why? Because drinking from the udder is nasty. It's not as sexy as films make it be, guys. Because farm animals are not that clean. That is the thing that like people don't understand is farm animals are really not the cleanest animals. They live on a farm. Most of them, like, they live in pens, most of them. Even if they're free range, guess what's crazy? A cow will roll in its own dung because it does not care. It could not care. It could care less about who is around and what is going on. Because you and I have this whole social norm of like what can and can't happen. But guess what? They don't. They do not at all. They don't have that. And the understanding of like that you want that are like completely unprocessed is disgusting to me. Because I've seen a cow, I've milked a cow, I've never taken care of a cow, but I've done the 3 steps that you guys want, and I wouldn't drink milk from it. Because when I was milking the cow, motherfucker, it was dirty. And it was dirty because, guess what? They didn't have a bath. They didn't get bathed. Because it was like 12 o'clock and they don't have to get bathed until like around like 3. So stuff like that actually does make me mad. When people are like, oh, I want unprocessed, I want unprocessed. No, you don't. You want unprocessed chicken, kill it yourself. And you're not going to like when you have to kill it. Because when you kill a chicken, it runs around for about 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. Because you cut its head off, it still has a beating heart. So it still has the nerves that the brain immediately sit down before you cut its head off to run away. And guess what? Once it's off, and now you have to catch a headless chicken. You now have to catch a headless chicken. That is what you have to do. You understand that, but you don't. Because you can't. It's so annoying. When, like, unprocessed honey. Okay. That means you want beehive in your honey. You want a little bit of beehive in your honey. Maybe some larvae. Maybe. Because actually, the greatest thing about bees, fucking A, is that they're animals that consent. So guess what? They put aside a specific honeycomb for you to actually get rid of the honey with and like smush the honeycomb and all that. But guess what? It still, they might have had like a time where they might have put eggs in it and they might have hatched. Well, you're going to get a little bit of honeycomb in it because to scoop out honey, you need a spoon. It's a type of spoon. It's a type of spoon that like takes up a lot of honey and you put it in a jar. But guess what? When you're scraping the thing, you are getting some of the honeycomb. Not a lot, but some. And I've eaten honeycomb. It is very waxy. It's not good. So let me tell you this once. You don't want unprocessed. You do not want unprocessed food. Because unprocessed food is something you have to process yourself. You have to go through the whole system of getting rid of everything. That is the thing. Like that is something you have to get yourself done. So that means like you want unprocessed milk, you have to process it at home, you have to put it through a grater, and then you have to get rid of the scum on top that's made for cheese. So that just sounds like a chore. It doesn't just sound like a chore, it sounds annoying, unnecessary, because we have processes for it. And guess what? You're getting all this stuff and you're still getting better. The understanding that you think unprocessed food is your get to put on the most amount of muscle is wrong and uninformed. Because if it's uninformed, it is not just something like you didn't look it up, you've never dealt with it in your life. The people that I keep hearing say this shit live in the city. I live in the city. But I had the opportunity to have these experiences because I know people who own a beehive, who live on a farm. I had these experiences and guess what? Well, not lived on a farm, but worked on a farm. And guess what? It was not a great experience for me because I'm a city boy. And I'll wear that shit like it's not the greatest badge of honor, but it's a badge that I don't have to milk my cows every day. I don't have to get eggs from a chicken that got pooped on, so I have to wash that shit. Because I don't want poop in my eggs. We have the internet, guys. You can see what unprocessed eggs, unprocessed fucking milk looks like, what unprocessed honey looks like, what unprocessed beef looks like. Guess what unprocessed beef looks like? It's a skinned cow. You order a whole cow. That's unprocessed beef. Because then you have to butcher it yourself. You know, like, the whole thing, like, Tristan Lee was like, I buy a cow pretty much every month. He was buying processed meat. Meat that went through a butcher shop, got sold at a store. If he was buying a whole cow himself, it would be annoying to fucking butcher up himself. Because, guess what? I've helped butcher a pig. It's not that fun. Because you have to figure out what you want and don't want. Like, if you're not good at it, you get mostly bone, and then there's some meat that you don't get because it's stuck to a bone and you don't know how to get it. Have a good day. Have a good night. See you guys.
All right.
Holy shit.
I don't know how this is gonna go, but it's probably gonna be hard as shit. So. All right. Okay, on to pull-ups.